All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I'm your host, Jody Williams, and tonight we have the man behind the Mac, Ian Carnegie. He's having technical difficulties or whatnot, but my man, Tim Talmadge, always a pleasure to chime in and have you on the show. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. How we doing? How we doing?
We're doing pretty good, and holidays are here. I can't wait, and it's almost time to put a bow tie on the 2024 calendar year.
That's right.
So
Well,
tell me, a year in review before Ian comes on. A year in review. How do you think the year went for you?
I had a pretty good year. I had a pretty good year. I mean, I did a lot of things, probably too much things, and always say I'm going to slow down, but man, I think I'm booked up every weekend in January already. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy, but no, it's been a good year, and I did my first Arm Wars as you did yours, and
Yes.
then I'm going back in 2 weeks. So it should be fun. And then come back from there, and then I'm gonna go to Illinois and bump up to Brent Racker's class and pull him and see how that goes. So
Ooh, there you go. We got the
yeah.
Jew 24 in the house. We got Paul Cruz. We got Scott Evans in the house. What's up, everybody? Yes, hit the like button. So tell me, Tim, you were at the king of the table, were you not?
Yep.
Okay. And then Carnegie says he's backstage, but I don't see him, so I don't know what's going on. So tell everybody, how'd that go? You saw it in person. Explain the atmosphere.
It was great. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, just kind of comparing the two from East versus West in Orlando. Um, it was great. I liked how they do two different styles. It's not completely the same thing. The crowd was amazing. I thought the crowd was a little better in Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but in Jersey, man, the Georgians showed up. Like they had so many Georgian fans in New Jersey. It was unreal. I couldn't believe it. No, it was awesome. It was electrifying. It was a great venue. You get the hotel, you get the food, you got everything's right there. The only thing that's kind of downfall it's like an hour and 20 minutes to Philly to fly into, or 2 hours or so to New York. But I mean, that's minute stuff. The
Right.
tournament went great on Friday, went smooth, and then yeah, no hiccups. Everything went smooth. I refed, I think, four of the matches. Um, but no, it was good.
Nice. Now, riddle me this. Were you at the one where it's in Orlando too, right?
Yeah,
And you said the crowd was a little bit better in Florida as it was in Atlantic City.
yeah. And I don't know, maybe because it was a bigger room in Atlantic City, and in Orlando it was smaller, so like more like just compact into there.
Right.
This one was a bigger room, but it was cool. Like this one actually had concessions in the back. They set up a merch table. They set up a beer, wine, spirits table. They had
Oh,
hot
wow.
dogs. They had chicken fingers. So in that aspect, it was pretty sweet.
Nice. Now, you did mention one thing, and I saw when I was watching the event, and you know, it seems like everywhere Levon goes, the Georgians come. You see all the Georgian flags in the background and things like that. I'm thinking, okay, is the next East First West? Is that in Georgia? Is that this one?
Yeah, so the next one in February is in the country of Georgia.
Can you imagine? Well, first of all, who's pulling from Georgia? Because you can't have it in Georgia and had.
Gennadi's pulling, Irakli's pulling.
That's right.
It's going to be electrifying. I mean, there's no doubt. It's smart what they're doing, right? You're now tossing this thing around. I want to say it's probably predominantly going to be in the U.S. going forward, and you're
Right.
still going to have one or two out of the country a year. But it's the U.S. is showing why we should have things like that here because they're showing up. This thing was so last minute because Vegas fell through, um, and people still packed the house, and that's the cool part about it is right.
Right.
And there's no doubt in my mind that, excuse me, this year if they do one of these in Vegas, it's going to be off the chain.
And you wonder because now that we had some of this stuff here in the States and we got the awesome, like, hey, this is big time stuff right here, you know, my word, this could be, the pinnacle. And now that you got together with um the big guy. God, forget his name already.
Robert Baxter.
Yes, you get together with him. Now we got something going on and stuff, you know. So
Yeah, his team's pretty good. Him and Dexter, they did a good job. Everything was, like I said, smooth. It was nice. So I'm looking forward to some more things. I don't think I'm going to Georgia. I already got plans that day. I'll be in Norway, pulling, and reffing over there. I got invited to ref. That's like the second or third or something like that, like largest event in Europe.
right.
Um, the Handiger games. I can never say it right.
Yeah, I can't. I was gonna call it hardbanger or something like that, but I
Yeah,
think
hard banger games. I don't know.
yeah,
But I mean, it's cool. Yeah, so there's a lot of big things going on that day, which is kind of crappy that two things are on the same day. Um, but I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? I mean, it's they're the promoters and they pick their days for a reason. I just wish that those were not on the same day, but hey, it happens.
right. Speaking of promoters, he finally got in. Carnegie, Mr. MAC himself. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Should I
So,
turn the phone this way? Like, because like my icon is pretty small.
yeah, go ahead and flip it that way.
Is it
There we go. There we go.
There
That's
you go.
better.
okay?
So apparently, from what I hear, your event went off with a bang. There were title belts, there were upsets, all kind of great stuff. I think there were like 17,000 matches you got done in a half hour. So,
Well, we weren't
everybody
fucking
have that
wasting
win.
time. We weren't wasting time. And I told Dave he was a little out of character, but I asked him. I said, "Look, take control. These guys have been arm wrestling 20 years in a particular format. They're not going to want to listen to you. So you have to get them and be like, hey, I'll follow you the fuck out. Like, you know what I mean? We still have real rules. You still got to follow them. And basically, this is an invite league only. And if you're going to cause a lot of problems and waste time and be a dick, guess what? We're just not going to invite you anymore, you know? And Tim, thank you for the sponsorship.
Yeah.
That was really nice of you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yep.
So
I got to tell you, you know that David Nicobades, right? The young Georgian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He lost to a relatively unknown kid up that lives a half an hour from me. I was blown away. I'm like, okay, so what kind of level is this kid at? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's really good.
Oh, shit. Like the crowd was stunned. This kid is from the Gennady camp.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he got taught by a bum.
Yeah.
You know, and but I'll tell you, if you guys saw Jody, did you get a chance to see it yet?
not yet. I just got home from work, and so thought I'd have you on. But guess what? I'm officially on my weekend today. So guess what I'll be doing tonight?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what, knowing firsthand, it is nice to be someone part of the Gennady camp because I just did it 3 weeks ago.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Baktan. So anytime you beat a Georgian, put a straw in your hat because I'm telling you right now, those guys don't play. And
They
the
don't
fact
play.
that,
They
I
don't
don't want
play.
to sit there and, rub Tim's back, but I'm going to anyway because the array of talent those guys got from that country, it's almost like with the ladies in Sweden. They got a factory going on. The same thing with the Georgians. They got a factory. So anybody that competes there is on the A game. And anybody from the United States that can get a win on those guys is saying something. So Tim did it. So hats off to you, buddy.
And now Sweden has got a puller, dare I say, in the next year or two is going to be probably a East versus West guy. Wouldn't you say, Tim? And that Philip Larson?
Oh, yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's going to pull for Mac. We were going to hook him up with Rick Heiderbrecht, but guess what? My good buddy, one of my best friends, he took an L 3-1 or 4-1 to Wayne Withers, who's now the MAC champion, went back to Mississippi with the belt. But I got to tell you, Wayne won the belt, but I think Rick won the night because in his one match that he did win, you know how like there's like an ESPN highlight of the night?
Yep.
Wayne had Rick about that close. And then Rick just It reminded me of remember Travis and Lupkis, and he's like, stand up, biggin, except Rick doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Rick doesn't say anything, right? But it's the same sort of like boom, back and back, and then he brought him all the way back. And when he won, the place erupted. It felt like when he pinned him, it felt like when Dev stopped Levon. Like everybody stood up and everybody was screaming and we were losing our minds. And a couple of months ago, Rick went out west and had a super match with Josh Bellin to the point where he was down. It was best 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
He was down 2 pins to 0, and he was 1 foul away from losing 3-0. And he came all the way back to win. So the rest of the crowd knows this, and we're thinking, holy fuck, Rick's going to do it again. But no, Wayne was like, he was gassing. He was, breathing heavy, sweating. And he's like, he put everything in that last hit to seal the deal. And Jody, unfortunately for you, you haven't seen it, but you're going to obviously get a lot of spoilers because we're going to talk about it, right?
Oh, that's okay. But see, here's the thing, though. I'm a fan of it anyway, so you could tell me who won. I want to see how they won. You see what I'm saying? So that's the stuff I like. But let me ask you, there's a lot of questions coming your way, so be ready. This is your second MAC event. So I'm assuming everyone gets bigger and better, that kind of stuff. So what do you foresee in the future with this league?
Honestly, I am not going to speak too much on the future because I will say kind of generic, but I'm not going to give specifics because we have different partners now. Like we're really tightening up like a real business now. You know what I mean? And I have very loose lips, and I've been told that I trust too many people and I tell things. You know what I mean? And because I just think like I'm very honest with people, and I just expect everybody to be the same with me. And I got a serious talking to from Bob Brown yesterday. Ooh. He's like, fucking zip it. You know what I mean? And like he's like, if people don't put money in your hand, don't count on it.
Right.
Because that did happen to me. I lost out on a $10,000 hotel sponsor that I ended up being on the hook for.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I reduced it. I got it reduced to 6,700 still. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And that's because I didn't listen to my partners. And now we're going to have a meeting, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be, let's keep Ian on the promoter / arm wrestling side of the house, and we'll do business. And I think that's probably a smart idea.
So I want to know, since we have Tim on, I need to know from a referee standpoint, I mean, how did you pull this off? You had how many matches and how long? You said 4 hours?
Okay, so to be fair, the entire event took about 6 hours. Okay. But if you really want to like break it down, it's even more impressive because we had 10 super matches plus a 6-man round robin. So it's like 32 plus however many matches are in a 6-man round robin. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a mathematician, but it's 30. A lot,
30.
What's that?
30 matches in a 6-man round robin.
So there you go. 30 matches in a 6-man round robin, plus 10 super matches, best 3 out of 5, plus 22 matches, plus 3 out of 5. We started at 3 p.m. We were late. Technical gremlins. You know what I realized? You can do audio-visual checks, get your system going. Everything's perfect. The minute you hit record or live, then there's a whole you know what I mean?
Yeah. Deal with it all the time.
Yeah, it's called Murphy's Law.
It's driving me. I was like having an aneurysm. And get this. You know how I'm so prideful about Mac tables and everything. This is the first Mac table that's collapsible. We would make them all just one solid thing so nothing could happen. I set it up, but my stress level and people talking to me, I don't tighten the bolts, the leg bolts. You get what I mean? Yeah. And Earl Wilson gets up there and fucking destroys the table. Just typical, because he's broke tables. So that was the irony of it all, right?
Well, Earl does his little dance.
I love
What's
Earl.
that?
Yeah, he does his little dance, Yeah. So.
Yeah. And he's he just hit it, and he didn't hit the table. It was just this incredible side pressure hit. And of course we just put the table back together and took the Allen key, tightened it, and nothing happened after that. But it just goes to show you, like, I mean, you guys are put on shows and you're a lot more astute to it. This is only my second show, plus the order of magnitude larger. It was 4 or 5 times the event that the first one was. So my stress levels were, you know what I mean? And you have like you have your VIP in the front, and Mike Gould's there, and you want everything to be good. You know what I mean? And like, yeah.
Well, it looked great. It looked great.
Thanks, man. But obviously, like I understand that arm wrestling is arm wrestling, and that a lot of people are going to look at the size of my pads and the rule system and be like, well, this is not going to help me for worlds and all that. And you know what? They're absolutely right. I want people to look at this as this is a different form of arm wrestling. Nobody's shitting on arm sumo. Nobody shits on our sit down arm wrestling. Nobody shits on, well, I mean, some people might shit on freedom, but it exists. I don't understand why Mac arm wrestling can't just exist, you know, as Mac arm wrestling. It is what it is. And I don't even care if matches that happen in Mac affect North American rankings. It's not my job isn't to worry about the system. We're outside the system. We're just creating our own little, you know, everyone's fighting for this piece of pie. We baked our own pie and we're just saying this is our pie, right? And we can have our own rankings. And there's other leagues. There's a league out in Texas. There's a league in the tri-state area that as soon as we get the final product, because guess what? As cool as that table is, I still saw some things that I want to improve. And until I got the table, which will be the 9th iteration of tables, until I'm satisfied, I'm not putting it out to the public. And you won't even believe, with the embroidery, the flaps, all the extras, the platform and everything, how affordable this table is going to be. Really, you know what the cost is going to be that bumps it up? Is because the table's so well made, it's very heavy. So it's going to be shipping. But if you want to drive your ass to the border, I'll drive my ass to the border and, you know,
do it quick.
we'll save the shipping that way, whatever.
How much?
I know
How much do you ballpark?
10 people right away were like, I want the what's his name? Wayne Withers' buddy, Todd Allen Jackson. He was like, if I had a table right there for sale, he would have bought it. And actually, that table that was in the event is in the States right now because our next event will likely be in the US.
Ooh, and we'll get to that in a second. But my question is going to Tim, but it's going to come back to you, Ian. So I want you to respond to this. Because Tim, when you put your first event on, every one you do after that gets bigger and better and better and better. So I guess it's the advice. When I ask Tim this, the advice will go to Ian. So Tim, how do you sustain that?
A lot of watching back what you did and getting the feedback. It's the feedback that drives you to keep going. Jody, as you know, our team has grown to about 15 to 20 people now. That it takes me to run an event. I have to have like 15 to 20 people because there's so much that we do now for our events. You know, for an example, my last event, we had 3 tables. I had 10 referees. Just for the simple fact that we rotate people in and out. But you're gonna find going forward your own niche and your own ways to do things and how you'll never go backwards. You're always gonna find new ideas. You're always gonna find new help, better venues, better this, better that, and you're just gonna keep growing it higher and higher. And as long as you can tell yourself after your next one that was better than the one before, you're gonna keep wanting to do another one, right? And so just keep working with the same guys and you know, it's keep it going. It's gonna be great.
There you go.
I appreciate that. So we have 2 style of events. One is where we put all out, you know. I'm not going to discuss the financials and who, you know, got paid, what, all that stuff, because it's not. When you enter, the way we look at the athletes is I'm not their boss. The way it is Mac is we stand on one side, we hire an independent contractor, and we come into business And that way, if I make 1 cent on his name, he makes the same cent, because, you know, when they sell our pay-per-views and stuff, like they get a promo code, and of that promo code, they get 50% of the profits. They don't even deal with the costs. Okay, we do the costs, we pay the costs, and of the profits that remain, we split it down the middle. And that's why if anybody with any kind of a brain cell in their head, if they're a social media star, if they got a large following, give me a call. You understand? Because they if they can pump, say, imagine what 10,000. So if you're a million follower person, and you even if you only got 10,000 buys, well, that's a good payday. You know what I mean? Like for both of us, right? So
I got a question for you before you go further.
Sure.
2 questions. One, I don't say the number because that's your business, but did you hit pay-per-view sales that you thought you would hit, better or worse?
We were substantially better than the first one,
Yeah.
by a large margin. But we didn't hit the target in which I thought, but then reality sets in too, right? Like you have to put things into perspective. This is only our second one.
Right.
And what is kind of cool is when you go through the pay-per-view sales, I can see everybody that bought, and that's relax there, Reddington. You're okay. You're okay. You're a good boy. Yeah, you're good. I had a smile from ear to ear because it looked like everybody that I know, and you know what I mean? That made my heart warm. I saw the support, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, but in terms of that outreach, part of what our as soon as like we get our group together and the people that are going to be in this business meeting, that's really what that's about, is how to reach the bigger audience. You get what I mean? But I don't want to say too much. I gotta.
Yeah. My second question for you was, do you think that going forward you might do a tournament and then the pay-per-view at night?
So no, we're gonna do a lot of our tournaments are going to be a little underwhelming. It's going to be just they're reconnaissance missions. Okay, so we won't have really high entry fees. It'll be just our entry fees will essentially be like a revenue. I'll be honest, it'll be like a revenue thing that we can put towards our big events. But we'll have decent medallions for. But essentially, it's for the panel to watch and to record and to review who is going to be filling up our cards, because we don't want to just go always the same 20 guys, you know, because they're the best guys that they're available to us, and just keep cycling them. We want to give, that's what the prelims are for us. Prelims are like the semi-pros, and we want to do like a format like we get, 8-9 super matches and then a 6-man round robin, and of the weight category of the 6-man round robin, the top 2 become a Mac Pro. And so when you see them again, they'll be on the pay-per-view side of the house instead of the free portion. You get what I mean? But we really want to get someone Mac related involved in every state to host a couple tournaments a year, to get all the talent, because there's a lot of guys out in the middle of nowhere. Like, trust and believe. Last night or Saturday night was a perfect example of that. Nobody knew Eli Aki. Have you ever heard the name Eli Aki?
I have not.
Tim?
Nope.
You heard of David, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Eli beat David, right? So this is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that is not going to happen unless they have an opportunity. Are we going to film everything? Yes, of course. Why? Because I'm not going to remember every match I saw. So we have to film it, we have to study it, and then we do the matchmaking. And I'm telling you, if you're an arm wrestler and you want that opportunity to get on the big stage, Mac is probably the best way to go, because we're going to have the simplest way to have a feeder system to get you there.
I was just going to ask you how you go about that, because your first 2 events were in Canada, rightfully so.
No, they weren't. No. First one was in Rochester, New York.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that. So when you come back to the States, because now you have we'll use Wayne Withers, for example. He's the champ. So now all of a sudden, I'm assuming the next one you have, the champ is going to bring his title, is going to pull in the line or not. But since you're one of the promoters, how do you go about that?
Well, I mean, so moving forward, like once we have an established league and we can actually look at the website and you can see all the pullers that have pulled for us, then it's going to be one of those earning system. At the moment right now, we've only had 2 events, so we don't really have pullers, right? So I have to do what every other promoter does and calls guys that he's familiar with. But I'll tell you something right now. I already talked to a guy who's plenty worthy, at least he certainly was in the past, that absolutely wants a piece of Wayne Withers' ass, and you guys know him very well. You know him really well. I just don't know if he wants me to say anything right now, but we had a discussion. But I'll tell you, if you're good at puzzles and like in guesswork, if this guy was an actor, he would work in Hollywood.
I'm not good at puzzles. I ain't got no hair to pull
well,
out.
Tim got it.
That guy's wanted a match ever since his rematch back at my event in Tucson, Arizona.
Who was it?
Don Underwood.
Ah, there it is. Hey, I tell you what. What would be funny, Ian? If you got your Mac established enough, and you have Mac guys, wouldn't it be cool to have a organization versus another organization? And I'm just gonna say this right now, just for conversation. Just hear me out. Wouldn't that be cool? All of a sudden, you got the Mac pullers versus, like, I don't know, Arm Sports Entertainment pullers, and they kind of go at it just for fun, and bragging rights. Nothing, nothing too bad, but bragging, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cool. It's just that, unfortunately, for the Mac pullers, we would have to pull WAF style, right? Because the Mac pullers are gonna be more familiar with WAF or arm sport rules than the opposite, right? Because like it's not fair to ask his athletes to jump into rules that they don't know.
I got one better for you. Each round is on different promoters' tables. So round 1's on a Mac table, round 2's on a normal table.
Oh, snap! Yeah. Would you be willing to go 8 1/4 pads?
I mean, I carry that around every day.
Do you really? Okay. I mean, okay. Maybe we just do a hybrid rule system.
Yeah. Has any of the people that's pulled your event ever said, I wish I would have had one of these tables to train on before they pulled your event?
100%. And the reason that I don't do that is because we're going on to our 8th iteration. Imagine because they're expensive. Like, it's expensive to buy a table like that. And
but it's all flat. So wouldn't you be able to at least give people dimensions? So like if I'm at my house and I just take the pads off my table and I just put a square line down, then I can practice where I want to do stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's just I was concerned. I'm always concerned about the mindset of someone that buys something and then all of a sudden a month later it's obsolete. I was concerned about that. I wouldn't want to take someone's money, and you know.
I think it'd be cool if you could talk to us, like maybe on your Facebook, like dimensions of the elbow pad, right? That way, if I run my practice, I can take my elbow pads off and I can put some tape down and I can have some fun just seeing where I want to go with things.
I can tell you, I can give you a little brief. It's our elbow pad is actually just a strip right across the table. Okay.
Yeah.
And what you do if you from center, you measure 7 inches. Okay. And that is where the ends of the playing surface is, and then go an inch inward, and that's your warning strip. Inch inward towards center, that's your warning strip. But the actual elbow at where you set up is 7 inches, which you need to have, or else you're just going to have a fucking Jerry Caderet pressing league because guys will be too close to each other, right? And then it's 10 inches across by 9.5 inches back. Now we are playing with the reason it's 9.5 and not 10 is because if it was 10 by 10, it would push the elbows too close. Okay.
Right.
So that's why it's 9.5. But someone said, well, why don't you just make it 9 by 9? And we might do that. But listen, like I said, we're still in the R&D phase. East versus West took how many shows before they got an official rule system that was consistent? They were changing rules every single one. And so, if they can do it, this is the newest iteration of a table that's out there. So allow us the time to get it right as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
We do have a question. It kind of relates to what you're talking about, but I'm going to read anyway. Okay. I want more information on the develop of this table. It deserves its own video explaining the evolution and showcasing examples of each irritation. Is that what that is?
Iteration
and why they changed.
Well, they changed because it didn't work, right? Like the initial table was the like almost like a hole at a 45 degree, right? And the pads were like these like strips that went almost all across the whole table, and
Right.
the degree of the corners I took was too steep, and the table just looked too small. But it was a cool concept, and I actually had this design 12 years ago. It was an old design that I decided to shelve because at the time when I brought it to Devin Larratt, he was like, it's a cool idea. It's just that the future of arm wrestling is no pads. And I believed them. I was like, oh, yeah, freedom. That's right. Well, it didn't take off, but there was a lot about freedom that I did like. A lot of people don't know this, but there was a reality TV series that we were supposed to be doing. We filmed an episode or a tournament, but was like in a studio, and it was going to blow up freedom. And I guess something happened. I don't want to speak on it, but between Devin and the people, they never came to an agreement on something, and that footage was lost. But let me tell you something. Honestly, honest to God, freedom arm wrestling was the funnest arm wrestling experience in my life. It absolutely was. It's super fun. The multiple different ways you could win. Everybody was, like when you see kids playing, you're like, wow, I never even thought to do that because their brains are wired differently, right?
Right.
And so the moves that you could do on a freedom table were bananas, and we all had a great time. So it was unfortunate that the world didn't get to see that, but I was there and I saw it, and I was like, you know what? America, when I say America, I'm saying North America, but really I'm saying you guys, because are the trendsetters. What you guys think is cool is how the world's going to follow. Okay. What you guys think deserves some focus, you guys are going to follow it. So I thought, you know what? The Americans, they don't like the freedom concept. They like what they like is you have your side of the table and a hand peg and a pad and a pin pad. And I have my side. They don't like this going around the sides and everything. They like that, I said, okay, well, what if I did this? What if I had my side with a hand peg, a pin pad, an elbow pad, just like they do, but I made it a little bit more like freedom so you could still get all that athleticness, you know what I'm saying? All that ability, all that room. And that was where the concept initially came from.
Gotcha. Also, same person, CO1 says regulation freedom tables should be 8 feet wide, easy to source plywood. Your response to that?
It's kind of funny because there is a video on YouTube where Devin and I are having a match on this outdoor freedom table. It's not meant to be a freedom table. We just used it. And it's something like 20 feet long. And Devin's like behind his arm, and I'm literally dragging his body about 15 feet. Like, because I couldn't move his arm, but I'm like, shit, if I can't move his arm, might as well move his whole body. And he just kept sliding, and I tried to get him to the end of the table. But when I got him to the end of the table, he went from his side, and he just stepped to the side of the end of the table, and then couldn't get around him anymore.
So you had why so many matches?
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to prove that I could. Yeah, honestly, I one of my big things and pet peeves, like, listen, I love East versus West and what they've done for our sport. What I don't love is that it's 13 matches and it takes long. Okay, like I know this is probably Engen's probably going to shoot me a text and tell me he's going to shoot me in the face when he sees me. But honestly, I love the man. I love everything he's done. But in all honesty, as God is my witness, and on my mother's grave, and she has passed, while in the audience at East versus West, I fell asleep twice. And it started, one, because I'm old and fat, but it started at 8 p.m. and ended at 3 in the morning. And I just had a hard time. And I mean, I lost that first match because I was sleeping between Leonidas and Schoolboy. And I was pissed that I fell asleep because I'm honestly, the fucking 20-minute setups, I can't deal with it anymore. And so when my mother always said, don't talk shit about people, or if you want change, instead of complaining about it, don't be that guy. Go and fucking make it yourself. Go make the change yourself, put your money where your mouth is. And my mom's passed now. And it kept ringing in my head, Ian, stop complaining about this. No one's going to change it unless you change it.
Right.
So that's what I did. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a rule system where the onus is on speed and getting the fucking matches going. And I'll tell you, I don't know what the viewing audience thought of it, but unless they're gaslighting me, man, the response from all the athletes to me was that this is the way to go. This is the sport. They loved it. Ask, I know you're friends with Danielle Everson.
Yes.
Give her a call. Ask her what she thinks. Okay?
Yeah.
Fine. I mean, ask guys who lost. Even they loved it. You think? I'll tell you right now.
Did you have anybody? I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say it so I don't forget about it. Did you have anybody who lost or whatever that said to maybe another athlete, "Let's run this back on a real table, and I think I could beat you there"?
I never heard that, but I did hear guys that were reviewing it say they'd like to see that match on a regular table because, and can I tell you, we have had an example of that, and it was no change. It was Josh Bellin and Rick Heiderbrecht. I mean, the one change that happened was the guy who lost the first time lost the second time, but had an additional win. Okay, that was the big change. That, however, I did see people that were doing. You know how, like, when they're watching the pay-per-view and they're on a scenario like this and they're talking to each other and they're like, oh, but you can't see what they're watching. They're just describing it. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that they said is I would like to see that run back on a WAF table. But here's what I'm going to say. That is, even if it was true that the result could completely flip, I don't care. I don't care. I'm basically telling you, I'm setting a league. This is the league. If the skill sets are different for my league versus your league, if you want to pull here, you better get good and knowledgeable and strong in the skill sets that require you to be successful at MAC if you want to pull us.
Yeah, I was just curious about how was the feedback. I mean, you shouldn't care because what you're doing is what you want to do. I was just curious if any of the athletes were like, hey,
well,
Tim,
that
was a great win. Yeah, let's run this back in 3 months on a normal table.
So Tim, there's what people say to you, and then there's what people say to you behind your back. Right. I mean, you're a well-known, respected guy in the community. I highly doubt that if someone thought like they didn't like what you were doing or what, I doubt very much they're going to come to you while it's your event, while you paying the bills and say anything. But they might walk by you, say, hey, but man, you did a great job. This was awesome. And then they, behind your back might say something. But I can't account for that because, well, I don't have eyes behind my back. Yeah. I can only tell you what people went out of their way and told me. Right. And I think a lot of people like the fact that 22 matches in 4.5 hours. And honestly, we had some breaks in there, man. Like, if you really count it, we had a technical difficulty thing so we had a long pause. Like, really, it took us 3.5 hours to do that.
Right.
And it's because we don't allow you to get your own grip. Like when you come to the table, the referee grabs your hands right away, finds center. He finds center. Once the other referee says where center is, we just fucking get your webbing perfect. And then as soon as we get your webbing perfect, we say, don't fucking move. Well, we don't say fucking, but we say, don't move. And then we switch to grabbing the wrist so we know it's fair. And then we say, close your thumbs, close your hands, go. Now, if they don't close their thumbs, like if they're doing one of these, foul. We said, close your fucking thumbs. So it's close your thumbs. If they do, close your hands, and they're like, foul. We are not waiting for you to get ready.
Yeah.
You need to be ready when your name's called. Okay? So we get you there. We match your webbing. It's center. And then we throw the strap on and cinch it there. We might change the league from an auto strap to it's a strap, auto strap. But if one person complains, then it's like instead of it saying, well, I want strap and you don't want strap, but it's an auto strap league, so the strap guy gets it. If you don't want to, then flip a coin. I think that's the fairest way. You know what I mean? Because right now, as it stands, it's defaulted auto strap, right? And then so then it leaves a bad taste in the mouth of a guy who's a hand ninja who wants to maybe try to, you know what I mean, to do something without the strap. But then, you know, if you slip, I don't care if you're a hand ninja anymore because you just proved to me you're not quite a ninja because you slipped.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because so many times, and we all know, and you've been there, Ian. I know Tim's been there. I've been there. People in the chat, y'all been there. You get to a table, and whether you're at a tournament or a super match, you get to the table, and your opponent goes, "Hey, want to get to the strap?" You know, I'm thinking, "No, let's just see where it goes," and then they fucking bail anyway. So when they say, "Let's go to the strap," and you say no, they're gonna get it anyway because they're just gonna bail out anyway. So, you know, we should do something
what
like
our
that.
problem? Remember what the overall goal is to put asses in seats and eyes on TVs. 90% of a audience that we're trying to get, like we want 90% of our audience to be non-arm wrestling fans. That's what we want. We want. So I don't want to put a rule set there that's so goddamn confusing that they're like, why is this taking? Why don't they just get on with it? Could you imagine if we're frustrated what they're like? Mm-hmm. So basically what we're doing is we're trying to cater to the lowest common denominator. Someone that's got a mind, what's the energy span or, you know, like attention span.
Yeah.
This big. So if the referee is taking control, and let's be WAF, any fucking form of referees, that referee should take control. End of story. If you have too passive of a referee, he's going to get walked on. Tim, am I right or wrong on that?
No, you're spot on.
Okay. So be decisive, be assertive. We get them there, you know, put the strap on, grab, close your thumbs, close your hands, go. And I'm telling you, I think we were at an 87 to 90% pin rate last night. Did we have matches that ended in elbow fells? Of course we do. Why? Because no matter what you do, people will push the limits of the rules. They just do. That's human nature, you know? And for us to be legitimized, we can't just start making calls up because it looks bad, because we have an intention. You get what I'm saying? We have this intention that we want things to end in pins. But at the same time, if you don't follow the rules, we gotta foul you. It's a league. It's you know what I mean? It's rules.
Well, I'm glad I brought you on because this is one reason of many why I brought you on, because anytime you have a new league or a new organization, the first thing is I was like, okay, what are the rules? Is it 2 elbows? Is it 2 fouls, 3 fouls, set grip, whatever the case may be? You know, are the referees strict? Are they loose? I mean, you got to ask those questions because with all the new leagues coming out, you know, and there's plenty of them, you know, you got to ask those kind of questions. That way, if some way, shape, or form, an athlete, man or woman, wants to compete there, they got to know, okay, here's the rule set. Is there a rule set where we can find how?
I'll send you the rules. Okay, I'm going to give it to you a real quick rundown, okay?
Before you do that, Ian, before you do that,
okay.
I said before you do that, I do got to jump off because I have a dinner to go to.
Oh,
But thank you so much for coming on and explaining everything. Jody will finish up with you, and well, I'm sure we're going to talk again. We just talked to New Jersey, so we'll talk again.
All right, take care, Tim.
See ya. And then we saw no. He said we just talked to New Jersey, but we actually just. Oh yeah, no. I guess Atlantic City's New Jersey too. But I saw him at Knuckles Up too, right? So
like,
I thought he
is
was
there a
getting
way you can?
confused. I thought he was getting confused, but it's
Oh no.
Yeah.
So is there a way you can find it where you can read the rules?
I won't. I mean, I can, but I can send it up on my Facebook or send it to you. But I can just give you the main things that people are concerned about, right?
Okay.
So there's 3 rules, 3 foul system, and there's a running warning system. What is the warning? Okay, well, around the pad there is a red strip that indicates your playing field of the pad.
Okay.
That is basically if your elbow touches it and you rest there, that's a warning. The referee will say, warning, you must immediately get back onto the black. If you do it a second time, that's a stop foul. Okay. If you blow through the red warning and you touch black on the other side, stop foul. You're no longer on the playing surface, right?
Gotcha.
And that's front and the sides. There is no warning at the back because you have the full length right to the edge of the table. And if your elbow doesn't come off the back, then you're good. If it comes off even this much, stop foul. You are no longer on the playing surface.
Gotcha.
That's a running warning system. And the incentive of running warning is better than a running foul because in a running foul system, you're not entitled to win if you're on the runner. You just have to win to get a restart. On a running warning system, once you're back into play, you're live, you can win. We have a depression. Our pads are in the table. So there's an inch gap from the top of the elbow pad to the top of the tabletop. And essentially, the referee is looking at it like a parallel pin. You have about 3/4 of an inch to play if you hop. If you crest it, okay, you come over that 3/4 inch. Now you're into the inch, and the referee can see your elbow. That's an automatic stop foul. And people say, we don't have micro fouls. This is not because a micro foul is basically just outside the inch. That would be a micro foul. But the hops are not micro fouls. They're allowed. That's what we're saying. We're saying if you're under the inch, it's not a micro foul. It's a play on, and a micro foul for us is an actual stop foul because we're saying this is your limit. And WAF, there was no limits, and now they're trying to give limits. But the problem is, referee has a mental ruler in their head and can really identify what 3/4 of an inch is.
It's a bang bang. Make a decision. You don't have time to kind of, review it and play. You just got to make a decision in real time.
Right. But on our table, it's a physical measurement. I mean, it either crests comes out of the hole or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, play on.
Right.
Okay. Parallel pin. This league has more parallel pins than pins on the pad, designed that way. It doesn't really matter if you win with a parallel pin or you hit the pad. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in any sport, but a lot of people like the feeling of hitting the pads. I mean, a lot of people did hit the pads, but if you can pull your opponent all the way over here, that's even better. You know what I mean? If you're able to pull opponent right across the table, and you know what I mean?
Hey, here's Wayne. Here's your champ right now, Wayne Withers. He says I had so much fun hanging out with these guys. The champ is here. Hey, Wayne, I'm gonna send you a link. Would you mind coming on the show and get the belt too while you're at it? Because I'm telling you, what you displayed, and I'll be able to see it at some point tonight. That's going to be fun to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and send it. You don't mind if I send a link to him, do you, Ian?
Why would I mind? He's my champion.
Hey, I got to ask the commissioner. Got to ask the commissioner. Let me send this link to him right quick because I'm telling you, like, man, this is big time stuff over here. I'm going to send this link to him.
You want to hear something funny? I'm planning on training to come back and I've always wanted to pull Wayne Withers, and now
Yeah.
I literally cannot now because it
Why?
gives there's no incentive for me. I don't want to train to beat him because he's my champion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying now. I got it.
Yeah. Why I have to do everything I can to promote him. So why would I do that?
No, that makes sense.
And the thing is I wouldn't be able to do it in my own league anyway. So
Right.
so why would I promote him as the best and here? But if I had an opportunity to beat him somewhere else, then everyone would be like, "This is kind of talking out of two sides of your mouth." You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I also am hoping that other leagues adopt MAC tables and MAC rule sets and call it whatever they want. There's 100 leagues out there using WAF tables and WAF rules, and they're not associated or affiliated with WAF. You don't have to buy our tables, run our rule sets, and have anything to do with MAC.
Right.
And when you do that, then you have an opportunity to actually get me on that table as an athlete, because as it stands right now, I'm the only one who's involved in MAC who's never gotten a match on a MAC table.
Well, there you go.
That's because ethics come into play, right? You have to.
Yeah.
I literally pay the referees, so.
Well, I sent the link to Wayne, so hopefully he'll join in. But tell me something. First of all, because I'm trying to figure out, is there a weight class going on, or how you decide how many belts you got? I mean, there's all kind of questions I still want to ask too.
Yeah. So remember I told you earlier about who the market is? It's the United States, right? We use pounds to determine people's weight. Okay.
Yeah.
So I never liked these like, oh, it's got to be 198 and 187. It's because it's just a conversion, right? It's like, it's really kilograms and we just go off of that. And that's what it is for pounds. I'm like, screw this. Our lowest, when we are become more established, have bigger budget, blah, 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 we'll probably do it every 10 pounds and we'll go lower. But as it stands right now, 160, 180, 220, 240 supers.
Right.
Now, if like John Tarian and what's his name? Brandon Assessor, there's like a 20-pound difference. They met in the middle. That's fine. Like 210. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They pulled at 210. That's fine. I don't care. As to make that match happen, make it make sense. That was good. But our if we're gonna say like who's the
champ is here. The champ is here.
Champ is here.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's up, champ? How goes it?
Phone sideways so we can see more of you. Turn your phone sideways.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
There you go.
A little better.
Yeah.
How's it going, champ?
Oh man, it's a little dark in here. I got to get some light. What's going on?
There we go. There we go.
Man, what a mess. What a mess.
So I want to hear from an actual athlete that competed on the table. I've been talking to the commissioner of the MAC, and now we got the champion on there. So you tell me, how fun was it to compete on that table and win the championship belt? Go ahead, give us your thoughts.
Man, the table is awesome. I was a little concerned about one thing. I was concerned about the athletes being able to rise a little bit with your elbow off the. I don't know if Ian's talked about that yet or if that's been part of the show, but I was a little concerned because I thought maybe Rick had experience in training like that and he might get over my hand that way. And right. I wasn't going to do that because I'm not used to training like that. But no, Rick seemed like he stayed lower down with me, or either I kept him lower down, one of the two. So everything worked out great. But the Rick set is tailor made for the way I pull. So I knew if I trained hard, there would be little chance of Rick beating me. But my God, that guy stopping me like he did a couple of times, man, it was in that style of pulling and that setup and a low hand top roll, that just doesn't happen to me. So the guy had apparently trained really hard, and he's a real good guy. But I love the rules. I love the whole organization, man. I just hope things go forward in a hurry. I can't wait to go again.
Well, you already got an opponent. We'll discuss it later, but I'll tell you this, and I hope forgive me for this. Okay, I said you won the belt. You won the night. Nobody had a bigger prize than you, but the highlight of the night had to be Rick pinning you. The way he pinned you.
Man, I've watched the match 400 times, Ian. I mean, I love the match. I mean, I was cheering for the guy right there. Not in round, let's see what it was. No, not in round 5. I wasn't cheering. In round 5, I said, if this guy takes me out, I'm going to hit him with the house in the kitchen sink, man.
Yeah, because honestly, I think the crowd was turning in Rick's favor because we had watched Josh do the same thing. Josh was up on the best 3 out of 5. He was up 2 pins and 1 foul away from beating Rick on the rematch. And Rick rattled off 3 wins in a row. So when he beat you, and we thought he put, like, it was a long fucking match, and he put the bleed on you and he got stretched out, I was like, oh God. Because Wayne, you were tight like this. This is what you were doing. But then you got opened up. And we were like, oh shit.
I was expecting something like that to happen. I was expecting, because I could feel his power in all 3 of the first matches. He was stopping me real close to that pin pad, which seemed like for an eternity for all 3 matches. But when I go back and look at the film, it really wasn't that long.
No.
But the 4th match, my God, he stopped me in a way better position. And when he did, my feet kind of collapsed out to the side and trying to put all more body weight into it as possible. And he just wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And when I got nervous and started moving, he was just waiting, and he took advantage of it. So, it's like Todd was yelling in the corner, stay where you are, stay where you are. But apparently I got to give Rick's corner man some coaching to Todd, because I couldn't hear shit. And I could hear Rick's corner man all over the place. He's fucking done. He's fucking done. You got this motherfucker.
Yeah, it was wild. Oh, I gotta tell you, I gotta apologize to Rick, because I had to eat crow. His body language wasn't the greatest. You were kicking his ass. So when match 4 came up, I walked over to get the belt. I took it off the table. I was getting ready to present it to you. And then he wins, and everybody started pointing and laughing at me. Put the belt back on the table.
Yeah, I hear that story.
I went put it back on the table, and I went and sat in the corner and sulked a bit. But it was fun.
Well, Wayne, where is the belt as you speak anyway? Where is that belt?
I'm looking right. It's right beside my Christmas tree over here. You want me to throw it on my shoulder?
Yeah, do that. You're the champ, right? That's what I'm saying. So, Ian, while Wayne's getting the belt, question: are you allowed to talk about when the next event is, as far as location or dates?
I'll say this: it's unless a venue of epic proportions makes an offer that we can't refuse in Canada, it's likely going to be in the States. We want to be fair to the American athletes. We want to be fair to my American business partners.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, our theme is trying to be like international. Like if a Mexican wants to come, if a European wants to come, that's fine. But really, like I said, our market is North America, and we want to promote us. So it's Canada, United States, Canada, United States. Like that's what I was trying to do.
So what did it feel like, Wayne, hopping on the airport and you got the belt around your shoulder and you're walking through security? Take us to that.
Oh man, no, I didn't have it out in the airport. I was too busy having to take out my sleep mask and take it apart and doing all this. I knew, man, they work me pretty hard when I go through these airports. If you got sleep apnea, it's not a good thing to do to be traveling, but it's well worth it. But I did have it around town today, and that some people might say that I'm just a cocky prick, but they don't know a lot of the reasons why I do the videos I do. I already did a lot of videos about the tournament.
Right.
My matches, and people will see it and they was liking it. Sooner or later they're gonna get fed up with seeing it. So the reason why I made this last one called The Champ is here is where me and my daughter is in the capital of Mississippi, Jackson, and we'll go around all the sites. We're going around restaurants. People's putting on my belt. Everybody's excited. They want their picture taken with me. And I'm telling them about this new league and about MAC and everything, And what pissed me off so bad is I cannot get a reaction from the biggest newspaper in the state of Mississippi. Now, they did do a story on me when I went to France a couple of years ago, which isn't a big a story as this.
Right.
I'm the super heavyweight champion of the hottest upcoming arm wrestling league out there. So this is not the Chicago Tribune, guys. This is Mississippi. So if you got somebody represent the state and the country going up there winning that belt, it should be printed. So I've sent out 10 emails to these guys in the past 2 weeks telling them about the match and no damn response. So I told them, damn it, we're going to the building. We're going to downtown Jackson, and we're going to talk to these guys. Nobody was there. Everybody was out. I finally got some lady to get a guy to come out there and say he would write my name down. Same news stations I called in. So I said, screw it. We'll make a video and we'll call it The Champ is Here, and it'll be right here in downtown Jackson, Mississippi. So, like I say, anybody that thinks I'm being cocky or bragging too much, no, it's just.
Do more of that. Do more of it. Go to the next state. Do that there too, please.
Right.
Because see, now
this is not the New York Post, guys. I know they got a lot going on up there, but we're in Jackson, Mississippi. Come on, this is a big deal in the state of Mississippi.
Guess what? Guess who else is going to come on that was there at your event? Oh,
what's up?
What is going on?
Hey, Danielle.
Howdy.
What's up, Danielle?
I saw the live and had to jump
You tell
in.
me. We got the champ, we got the commissioner, and we got, dare I say, the queen of the MAC. Danielle, tell me, because before you two came on, we were talking with Ian and Tim Talmadge, and we had everybody in the chat asking questions. And even Ian sat there and said, hey, ask anybody who came to my event and competed on that table. And Wayne chimed in and said, you know what? I'm going to send him a link. You chimed in. I'm going to send her a link. So that way we can hear from the horse's mouth. You tell me, what was your experience on that MAC event?
It was an absolute blast. I would do that again in a heartbeat. The whole night was magic. I think it was honestly formative for arm wrestling, especially in an entertainment, bringing arm wrestling to the widest amount of viewership possible style. It was really fun as a puller to know that you weren't going to be sitting around for 4 hours waiting for this to happen and that to happen. Everything was exciting. There was constantly, stuff going on. Another match. It was just, the energy was amazing. Never bored. So much fun. I loved it. And the table guys. That's probably my favorite part, honestly, is whether people wanted to adopt MAC rules or not, or whatever, do what you want. But that table is so awesome. I love it.
There you go. Ian, how does it feel when you got two of your competitors saying, hey, I want to go back. I want to be on the next card. How does that make you feel? Because now you got tough decisions to make, because there's going to be a MAC 3 that'll be in the States. And now you got to go, okay, I got to find an opponent for Danielle. I got to find a title match opponent for Wayne. And then you got to start picking other athletes going, okay, hey, would you like to be a part of MAC3? What about you? And then you got to sit back with the powers that be and try to see what's a good matchup. How does that make you feel?
Well, let me tell you something. When I look at Danielle and I look at Wayne, I have legit love for these people. Like, I love them, and the problem with that is now it makes me biased.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like I spent some good quality time with Wayne, and it turns out Wayne and I share a lot of similarities that we are going to keep to ourselves, right, Wayne? We're going to.
I already know what those are, so it's all good.
I just love the guy, and I love Danielle, and I've always, since I met her when she came up to Canada, I'm like, that girl's a star and she doesn't even know it yet. And You
But
know,
I'll say the immediate friendship and positive vibes was mutual, and I can honestly say the same thing for first time we ever talked, Jody, the first time we ever talked, Ian and Wayne, the first time we ever met. I mean, it was the same thing for everyone in this chat. It was just right away like,
well,
know your people.
when
You know?
you're a good person, right? When you recognize another good people, the world's full of fucking arseholes, right? So it's like, you know, when you finally meet a person that's like-minded, and you kind of like, I felt comfortable around Wayne immediately. I felt comfortable around you immediately, and that's a great feeling.
Authenticity. That's how I would describe it. You know, we can all be different, like these things, that things, whatever. But I think it's a group of authentic people, and other authentic people sense that, and that's something I also like about arm wrestling as a sport, is I feel like there's a higher number of those types of people.
Right.
We got to be better prepared, Danielle, next time, because we went to a pay-per-view a while back and we both took ass whoopings.
That's
we
true.
went outside and had a cigarette together to calm our nerves. This time, I said, Danielle, we got to go outside and get a victory cigarette. And guess what? We walked outside. Neither one of us had a damn cigarette.
And it's cold outside, right? It's like 2 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and we're like, let's have that victory cigarette. I assumed he had them. He assumed I had them. I don't actually smoke anymore, but I'm going to have a victory cigarette, damn it. Come on.
No, hold on. First of all, Wayne, you should not be having no cigarette. You the champ. You should have a cigar. What the fuck are we doing, man? Like,
man, got to get more like Arnold, man. You know, he carried a box of stogies around with him and lifted weights. I got to get more of that mindset, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you know what was I liked about it, Danielle and Wayne? The venue, when I first rented the venue, when it's empty, it looked enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then when we filled it up, I was like, this fucking thing is small. Like, I was like, you know, do you know there was only like about 150 chairs and only about 200 people in the building?
Really?
I know it seemed more, right? Like, didn't it seem like there was more? And when people were screaming, it was like,
absolutely.
Because but no, that was capacity for us.
That was, I mean, it was good though, because it made the event kind of have that, like, where it felt big but also intimate at the same time.
Yeah.
Because wherever you looked, it's familiar faces, it's happy faces. You're elbow to elbow with your friends, with people that are excited about the exact same thing.
You know what we missed out on? You know what we really missed this opportunity?
A group photo.
A group photo. Everybody having
that.
And our banner stage, whatever you want to call it, 42 feet. So we could have got all 70 of them in front of there wearing Mac gear. I bet that would have been a record.
Yeah.
So I got back-to-back questions, one for Wayne and one for Danielle. So Wayne, is it true you're the first ever MAC super heavyweight champ?
That's true.
Okay, so here's my question to you. Being that, do you feel any kind of pressure now? Because now, you know, you're the guy. You got the bullseye now. And when the dates are released for MAC 3, you know, we don't have a location or a date set yet, but when that does, be prepared. There's going to be somebody trying to hunt you down for your title. So do you feel any kind of pressure now?
No, right now I'm just enjoying the moment, but I'll get back in gear pretty good probably in about another day or two. So,
well, we'll give you a little bit of big break. Oh my goodness!
I'm just taking it easy right now, but I don't feel no pressure. I feel like a lot of pressure's off my shoulders after winning, because seeing Rick and seeing how good a shape he looked like he was in, I said, man, this guy's been training, you know. But I knew in the back of my head, back of my mind, I had been training real hard also. I said, so this guy's going to have to be strong. But
yeah, man, Rick's chest, eh?
Dangerous opponent.
His chest looked like a shield. I was like, oof, okay. He was a big man. It was awesome to see the two of you at the table. Like, when you guys came together, it looked like a Titan and Goliath. You know,
I was thinking the same thing.
I said at the press conference, I had them on either side of me. I guess JJ was beside me, and you were on JJ's side, and Rick was on my side. We did that on purpose. Canadian promoter, American promoter, Canadian athlete, American athlete. And then I said, could I get these two guys to stand up? And I'm like, I did that so you people could have the opportunity to see what 14 feet of human being looks like.
Yeah, that's what you said. You know what else is fun about your match, Wayne, is that like I feel like in normal life interacting with people, both you and Rick are very gentle giants. So it's fun to see you guys kind of come alive and see that other like aggressive side of you both turn on when it's time to fight, and that's cool to see.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a good match. Like I say, them first 3 matches, I think hitting in the right places, and I could feel the power there. I could feel it, man. I said, this guy's strong.
When you made Rick yell, I was like, "Oh, I don't think I've ever heard that before."
No one heard. That's the first time I've ever heard Rick yell.
Yeah.
He normally beats people and is like, and like is humble about it. Like but when he beat you, he like yelled and he slammed the table. I've known Rick for 20 years, never seen that.
Hey, the sport will do it to you. The sport, you know. Miss Danielle, there's a question for you, or actually a statement.
Yeah.
Danielle had 2 wars. Upset I was going in go mode, wanted to introduce myself, and Wayne winning the belt was nuts. Love that I got to see that in the front row. So, with that being said, you know, here's Danielle.
Too bad we must have missed each other, because I know like we've interacted. I mean, I've been online plenty of times. So, yeah, appreciate that. It was 2 great matches. My left arm, tell you what, right here remembers Michelle real well still today.
So remind us, who are your 2 matches against?
Left arm, Michelle Dugan. Right arm, Bethany Ritchie.
That was my match of the night right there.
Thank you.
Your left arm match.
I voted for your match to be match of night with Michelle. It's just, honestly, we wanted to be able to give so Tim Talmadge sponsored the match of the night.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do a presentation, but she had to go home because she had grandchildren, like Christmas things. So she left early, right? So basically who won the match, and you guys were like neck and neck, and we just met with the people that were there so we could present it, you know?
That makes perfect sense.
You said sponsored. What was the prize for match of the night?
It was Tim. I think Tim gave $200 or $300, and then we added a little bonus. Or at least I think so. I saw JJ put money and look more. What did you say? What'd you say?
I said I think it was definitely me and Rick match of the night.
How much were those sprinkles? I think it was
Got a little Christmas bonus, huh?
Yeah.
It was close. I mean, you could have been there. I also threw that in the hat because by far the biggest reaction, like in terms of decibels, that went wow, when Rick got the pin, you know. And Wayne, you got to be fair with that. You're coming into the guy's backyard, and literally he lives an hour away from that venue,
right?
So he had friends, and everybody was pro Rick. Everyone's pro Rick in Canada. We're not anti Wayne by any means.
It would be the same way for Wayne in the United States. It just makes sense.
Well,
where you are.
Like when I come in, I throw my hands out at the crowd when I walk in from the back, and I just kind of give them a mean look. So somebody commented and said, "Dude, come in looking like he was the villain off of Yellowstone and had pronation." Like
yeah, someone said that. Yeah, someone said
that's
that.
awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Yellowstone.
it is awesome. And I want to ask one more thing, because now we're talking about this, and now we got the athletes, you know, shedding some light and stuff. Is there like an actual Facebook? I'm trying to remember. Was there a Facebook page that's just Mac Arm Wrestling?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So everybody in the chat, if you're still with us, check out Mac Arm Wrestling. I'm pretty sure some photos were posted. They're on there on the website now.
I don't know.
Search Major Arm Wrestling Championships on Facebook.
We haven't done much of uploading, just a few things. I did a kind of a little video because it got my brain going. So like, you know, John Terrian, right?
Oh yeah.
So John Terrian's holding Brandon L. Seltzer like this, and he gives the biggest shit-eating grin you've ever seen in your life. And so I took a still of it.
How many views did that picture get?
made. Right? This is how legend. So it was a shot of him doing it from far back. Then the next, that's how legends are made, and it's a little closer. And I do it the whole way till it's just his face, and you can just see his grin. So I did something like that. But for the most part, I'm actually collecting. So my best friend from childhood was there. He remember Wayne, the big black guy with the Boston Bruins stuff on.
Oh yeah.
He was taking photos, right? So we're waiting for that. And basically I'm just stealing everybody's photos that were at the event on the
You can't
Facebook.
really see it.
What's that?
Okay, we're back.
I was trying to bring it up, but you can't. It's messy. It's the light. It won't handle it.
There it is.
Sorry.
I tell you what, because now you got everybody curious, because now they're going to be like, oh, well, crap. If everyone said this is awesome, I want to know when's Mac 3 coming out? You know, they're going to be in the States. Oh, you might get a lot of emails in. You might get a lot of Facebook messages or what have you saying, hey, I want to be a part of it. How do I be a part of it? I'm telling you right now, that's going to happen the minute we put this down.
First, I got to say this, and I think you guys can understand my reason. First of all, we entertain those who have been loyal to us. Because when we were just a concept, I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of like, that's never going to work. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? That concept sucks. Okay, that's fine. That you're entitled to that. But if you were rocking with us at the beginning, I go to you first. Do you know what I mean? Like Wayne, this is like I consider the first two events the first. You get what I mean? And or you were rocking with it, and you could, like, for example, Jason Merlo is interested in pulling with us. Of course, I'm going to reach out. Rob Vidgen Jr. He wants to pull with us. Of course, I'm going to. You know what I mean? Just the dates and time, especially this one. Danielle, it was tough, right, to make that December 21st, right?
Oh, right, exactly. I mean, I drove home Sunday and went right to a family Christmas event, you know, and I feel like a lot of people were in the same boat of like.
A lot of people were in the. I mean, Michelle said yes, and she literally left the event to go to a Christmas thing. Mm-hmm. So I get it. But those are real people.
Right.
You guys came, you know, even though it was shit. So shit timing, and
I would say something that just the feel of the whole event was a very like it just felt like family, you know. That was nice.
And because it's invite only, if you really think about it, tournaments aren't invite only. Tournaments, you pay your fee, get in, you get your shot. Right. But when we make the events, it's invite only, and so we're looking for people that want to be here, so that there's a collective, right? There's a collective happy mentality going, because everybody knows that we all want to be here. You know what I'm saying? And so first off, I'm going to contact everybody from that competed in 1 and 2 and see how many of those guys are interested in coming back. And because we can put on 30 matches, you know what I mean? There's going to be plenty of new spots opening up, you know what I mean? And there's a couple of kids that I need to get back on there. Dakota Shipton and Matt Wilds. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the money this time around to get them, and it bothered me because they had a great match, Mac 1, and they deserve a rematch. They were match of the night actually in Mac 1. And I just, you know, I had to pay Wayne Withers so much goddamn money that the whole
that freaking guy.
No, Wayne was very reasonable. Wayne, and you have to also look at it from Wayne's perspective. I didn't give him a lot of time. You know what I mean?
I put a good bit of that money back into the Canada. I went to the Gentleman's Club for 2 hours. So there you go. So I didn't take no care.
Right back into the Canadian economy. There you go.
What's that? Okay. What's that, Danielle?
Right back into the Canadian economy.
Right, exactly.
Well done.
I put a little bit of the Canadian money back, so you ain't got to worry about losing the economy up there. So.
All right, thanks, buddy. So what do you think of the swag, Wayne? Like the hats and the sweaters and shirts. What's your overall?
never had that reaction from people as far as airports and everywhere I went, stopping me, asking me if I was an arm wrestler. They was reading the hoodie, and they said, "Oh wow, are you an arm wrestler?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I mean,
Cool.
it was at least 6 or 7 people asked me in the airport.
If you did that and had the belt over your shoulder walking through the airport,
Good
I
Lord.
guarantee you there'll be people taking pictures. They'd be, oh man. So what you should do is take all the pictures you can, put them up there. I'm the MAC champ, Speaking of titles, Paul Cruz wants to know, are you doing a 242 belt?
240.
240? There you
Paul
go.
Cruz, man, just gain some weight and come up and pull me. You ain't got to worry about losing no weight.
Wayne, I'll tell you, that Paul Cruz a lot stronger than you think.
Yes.
I pulled him in New York back in February. He was
okay. Just so you're aware, you want all the way outside on that guy.
How much I like this belt. Let me tell you what happened. I almost thought I was going to have to beat up a guy.
Wayne, you get to keep that. Even if you lose your next match, that's
we don't want to talk like that, Ian.
All right.
Oh.
Anyway.
Hey, is there a women's belt?
What's that?
Listen, guys, like give me a break, right?
Right. Not in development.
There is a belt for everybody except they just haven't been made yet. Like when we decide what's going to happen, I think, to be fair, and these are just suggestions, I don't get to dictate what happens to my business because it's not just me.
Right.
What happened? How come everybody disappeared?
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
So it's my spouse is an owner, Matthias Berdard, who owns PremStream and the production company. He's a 1/4 owner, and JJ Jackson, who's my American partner. So we got to get together, and we'll like.
And also something for the whole community to understand too is that like you're inventing something here, and it can't just start with every bell and whistle. It has to gain momentum. So the more people keep buying pay-per-views, investing in it, showing up for events,
buying swag
will happen.
You know what I mean? Like the one thing I don't know this to be a fact, but I think in terms of swag and sales and how many people in North America are wearing either hats, sweaters, or shirts, I think I can't think of another league that has got that kind of reach or sold that much. I could be wrong, but I can't look at an event in North America and not see this name.
Ian, if someone wanted to buy a hat or a hoodie, is there a place we could go?
Not yet.
Okay.
Basically, what we're doing is we just show up to events with. I don't know if you noticed, we had a bunch of red lidded big totes.
Yeah.
Full, and then we throw them on a table.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is like we're not a clothing company, right? And we're just we want people to enjoy our swag, but we're an arm wrestling company. But if it grows to the point where it does have a clothing company aspect to our business, then But the problem is we try to sell these really cheap. Like this is only $30 Canadian, which is like 10 cents American, right? So it's like this is a piece of piss. But as soon as I try to ship it to somebody, then it becomes a $50 shirt, which is what I mean?
I you know what? I got a gripe here. I really enjoyed my time in Canada, but I have one gripe. Okay.
Please.
At the end of the event, I left and I was like, you know what? I got food. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get to the hotel room and eat. And I was like, you know what? I pulled in and there was a McDonald's right there, and I was like, damn it, I want a McChicken. So I drove into that McDonald's and I got 2 McChickens and a Diet Coke, which like I get here all the time, in the United States. And they were like, that'll be $17. And I'm like,
whoa.
Excuse me? So, okay, all right. So I did the math and I realized that would still be about $12.50 American. And I'm still like, hold up. That is still crazy because 2 McChickens and a Diet Coke here would cost me about $6-7.
So let me
Diet Coke is $1.
Let me explain something to you. If you would have been here before the Trudeau government,
yeah,
it would have made a lot more sense. But we had I don't want to get too political because
Right. Yeah. That's my
but-
only gripe about the whole thing was my McDonald's order.
but since this guy he's destroyed our economy, we're 40 cents. You guys are 40 cents ahead on the dollar. I'll tell you, I got a prediction when our conservative government gets voted in because they're trying to boot this guy out with the non-confidence vote. All the other parties, like we're not a two-party system in Canada. We've got a bunch of different things, right? So all the leaders are basically saying, yeah, we don't have faith in this guy. And it's going to go to the conservatives. The second that happens, our dollar is going to go way up. Not to parity, because if we were on par with Americans, it's not good for us because you guys will stop buying from us.
Well, and it's not even political to say that, one, popularly we know most of Canada is not a fan of him, and two, he's hitting people where it hurts the most in their pocketbooks. And that's not even a political statement to say that. It's just true.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, I tell you what, I want to really thank all you guys for coming on here. I think now that Ian, you came on here, shed some light. Wayne, you came on here, shed some light. Danielle, you came on and shed some light. And I think now, because now you got people saying, where can I get a hat? Where can I get a shirt? You know, I think I understand where you're coming from, Ian, when you go, hey, guys, just pump the brakes for a second. I think because when you have athletes that compete at your event and they see the enthusiasm, right? And they think, man, I want to be a part of that. You know, hey, where can I get a hat or a shirt? And I understand. It's just, I think they're just excited that another league, you don't have to go across seas to compete in. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I do know what you mean because that's my point. Like, I'm like, hey, we have a lot of talent in Canada and the United States. Let's get them together and give them a stage. It really bothered me, though. I couldn't get a Canadian girl to compete against the Americans. I had 3 Americans come to Canada. Now, how much does that make sense?
But I think too, it's not for lack of one. It's not for lack of you trying, Ian. Just so everyone watching is clear. But 2, I think also just the timing. The timing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
Like in my first one, you know what? I'll take it back. You're right, Daniel. Thank you for putting the perspective on it. Because with MAC 1, we were in Rochester, and our female match was 2 Canadians. So, okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, everyone, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Queen of the MAC, thanks for coming on. The champ, always a pleasure. The commish, my friend, yes, thanks for coming on. And I do want to say, hope all you guys have an awesome Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Merry Christmas, Jody. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
There it is.
Wayne.
Take it easy.
And listen for Ian because he'll let you know when the next location and the next, event's going to be. So everybody keep your ear to the ground. So.
And like all of Matt, look at Major Arm Wrestling Championships on YouTube. Subscribe, like the stuff, follow. You know what to do. Support.
There it is. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.